Sebastian Weinberg, going back to MythBusters. Are there any popular misconceptions or myths about the MythBusters, either the people or the show itself, that you would like to bust? The primary one that would happen when people would visit the set is they would always say, "Where's the team of people building stuff?" And the answer from all five of us was always, there's one guy in each shop helping us build stuff, but for the most part, it was all built by us. That is definitely, people didn't believe that was possible. But this is going back to like the fact that we made a real reality show. Besides that, I don't think there's anything people have come up to me thinking that I needed to redirect their thinking on. Silver Defender wants to know, re-filming MythBusters, was there any ever delays due to fans hanging outside M5, M6, M7? No, not really. The people that would make a pilgrimage over to M5, and it really was like a pilgrimage. It was never someone local. It was always like, we are from Sweden, we are from Denmark, we are from Germany. It was literally people like coming to San Francisco to drive past and take a picture out front of M5, which is down on Missouri Street in Potrero Hill. But one time, my favorite fan visit was we were doing birds in a truck. And the myth is, if you have a truckload of birds and they're all flying, can you remove the weight of the birds from the truck? Like, is the truck that number of birds lighter? Or is the downward pressure of their flying canceled out their weightlessness within the system that is the truck? And the answer is the latter. The answer is, when a bird is flying in a truck, that truck isn't lighter because the bird is flying, because he's imparting energy to stay in the air, and that energy is staying within the system of the truck. It was a really fun story to do. We actually built a safe way to keep pigeons flying in a big glass truck that we made. We got a helicopter in there. It was a really awesome episode. But the reason I'm telling this story, fan visit, right, is we thought for a while about catching our own birds because we thought that would be fun. And Jamie wanted to make a net shooter. And so Jamie did make a net shooter. Now, a net shooter, we ended up using one on Savage Builds. A net shooter is effectively an air gun with like 3, 4, 5, or 6 darts that shoot outwards with a net between them. You've seen them in Batman movies. They actually make those, and they work just like that. The one we bought for Savage Builds is like a flashlight, and you point it at something, and it shoots six lead beads with a net in between them. But Jamie took a big fishing net and he put 6 tennis balls on it. And then he took Schedule 40 pipe that could fit a tennis ball. So like 2.5-inch internal diameter Schedule 40 pipe, all down to this manifold of Schedule 40 pipes. And it was this ridiculously giant cannon. And there used to be, right now there's a building next door to M5. But when we were filming the show, it was an empty lot. And pigeons used to gather in that lot. So Jamie would show up at work, try to catch these pigeons. The protocol was that Jamie would show up at work like an hour early, and he'd throw some bird seed out in the empty lot. And then when everyone would show up, he would go out with a net shooter and a camera crew and try and catch the birds. But the birds, birds, man, they are so sensitized to your attention upon them. And the moment you start thinking about them, they're like, we're out of here. They are so skittish. So it was day after day was burning day after day, not getting the footage we wanted. And finally, Jamie was like, tomorrow morning, I need everyone to show up at exactly 6:45 a.m. And at 6:50 a.m., I will walk outside with this thing. We're going to get this. And it's this whole really specific plan. And I forgot the plan and I showed up a little late, but that wasn't the problem. Being a little late meant I got to witness this. So I show up at exactly 6:50 and the door opens and Jamie walks out. And what has just happened like 30 seconds before is that this carload of Swedes has arrived, a mother, a father, and 2 kids, and they've pulled up in front of M5, and they're taking pictures when the door opens, and out of the door comes Jamie holding this giant 60-pound, 6-barreled cannon. Like, in their wildest imaginations of planning their trip to California to come to San Francisco and make the pilgrimage to M5, I am so sure they imagined all sorts of possibilities. What were they going to see when they showed up? Were they going to see something blow up? Were they going to meet Adam or Jamie? Were they going to see like a classic MythBusters thing? I'm sure they went through all those mental calisthenics. And yet, in no way, I think, could they have ever posited a more perfect thing to witness upon pulling up to M5 than the door opening, Jamie walking out, seeing them and going, "Who the frack are those people?" And then wandering over and the pigeons all taking off and Jamie getting super pissed off. It was one of the great fan interactions we have ever had. And then we took pictures with them and gave them some autographed pictures and sent them on their way. That was my favorite fan interaction. Oh, right. So, here we go. This is Ziz62266. Ziz asks, do you find it easier or harder to work on similar projects concurrently or sequentially? As a modeler designing parts for my home business, I find I need to keep 3 or 4 different types of projects in rotation, as the mental shifting gears from one to the next helps me clear my thoughts for when I come back. I don't have issues working on multiple similar projects at once. The gear switching for the project is almost autonomic because, you know, I have mild ADHD and I kind of bounce from pole to pole. Unexpected gear switching is really rough for me, but the clearing my thoughts for when I come back around is actually really difficult after I've been traveling a bunch. And I experienced that this week. Though, as I said at the beginning of the live stream, I've been traveling for much of the last 6 weeks. And that's meant that the time I've spent in here has been bulleted, right? Like I'm here for a day or 2 and getting 1 thing done or 2 things done. And now I'm back for like 3 weeks. And on Monday, I had a really rough day in here because I wanted too much out of the day. What does that mean? This is both my place of employment, but it is also my place of mental succor and meditation. You know, working at this bench is part of my daily meditation on my fallibility, on my lack of control, on all of those things, on creativity and all those excursions. And as such, when I'm working in here and it's firing on all cylinders and it feels really good, and then I make something that I love, and then make something that I love and covet, that feeling is like my whole life is about that feeling of finishing something that I love and covet and thinking about it and waiting for the mood to strike to make the next thing that I will love and covet. But when I've been gone for a long time, and actually, I mean, for the past 3 or 4 months, I haven't done any long-term builds. And I start to suffer a little bit when I don't do a long-term build for a while. The short ones are satisfying and they're gratifying, but they don't quite lend the same gravity to the finished project. And so Monday I was in here and I was thinking, oh, there's too many things to do. There's too much. I want to do it all. And I'm like, I was bouncing around and I kind of had to sort of suffer through the day and not ever feeling like I was getting ahead of anything. And then I went home and sort of talked to my wife about it and thought about it and, you know, realized what was going on. It's not like I can change it, but understanding it helps. Gear switching is hard. Gear switching takes energy. And switching between the short-term and the long-term projects, it's also like, what do you do? What is the long-term project? What should it be? I want it to be good. I want it to be successful. I want it to be fun. You can't control all of those things. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects. Questions, you get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.